So this unboxing is the second book that Faye Duncan is releasing this year in 2022. Two fabulous books, both perfect for Black History Month. Opal and What It Means to Be Free. It is a story of the grandmother of Juneteenth. Oh, that's incredible. The true story of the grandmother of Juneteenth. Art is by Keturah, a Bobo, a New York Times best-selling illustrator. And also, yeah, you can tell that is, that's pretty, if you look at it, I didn't look at it that closely, but then you see a girl, and then the shadow behind is a grandmother. So I don't know if it's the granddaughter, grandmother, or the grandmother as a child. So that's, I'm just curious. And I want to say thank you to the publisher, who is Tommy Nelson, an imprint of Tommy Nelson. Okay, so I have an advanced reader copy. So, you know, things can change, but it is probably pretty close to the finished work. Okay, well, I feel like, you know, there weren't that many Juneteenth stories, but now that Juneteenth became, you know, so before it was sort of like this closet holiday, no one knew about it. But now, after George Floyd's murder, Juneteenth sort of became front and center, as it should. And now Juneteenth is, I think, being celebrated in more places across the United States, and maybe even in some states, you know, like a holiday where you get time off. I'm not sure. But it's nice to see that there's more Juneteenth books, Juneteenth stories. And I haven't seen any Juneteenth story about, you know, the history, the true history of Juneteenth, like around a particular person. This is the first time I knew that there was someone, like a, you know, a human face that we can give credit to this holiday. So that's, you know, that is the story about Opal Lee. So here we have Juneteenth. And it was, you know, I guess from other books I read, it was always in this park that was more of a, the one place in Texas, in that particular city, which I'm not sure which city it was now, where it was safe for African Americans to enjoy. And that's where Juneteenth kind of evolved from, as sort of like picnics and barbecue celebration of it. Okay, so here's her story. She grew up in this house and was enslaved. Okay, so we start Opal Lee as an enslaved person. They were not allowed to read or write. Yeah. And then the Emancipation Proclamation under President Lincoln on January 1st, 1963. But of course, in Texas, which explains why Texas is sort of like this outlier for many things, they didn't honor the Emancipation Proclamation, and they delayed it for 2 more years, right? And it wasn't just like, oh, 2 years, you know, we decided, okay, now it's time. It was, and I think it took 2 years for federal troops to show up in Texas to enforce this Emancipation Proclamation, and to, you know, because before then, during the time of the Emancipation Proclamation, before Juneteenth, the information to enslaved people was suppressed, so they didn't know, okay, they are actually legally no longer enslaved. Okay, so sorry, I digress. So let's go back to Opal Lee. And so she's telling them about freedom, and on Juneteenth, so I think she might have been very young when this happened, and now in the Juneteenth celebration, she's just explaining how her life was. She wasn't allowed, because of segregation. She wasn't allowed. They were banned from Forest Park Zoo every day of the year except for Juneteenth. Okay, well that's what it was like, and that's crazy and bad. And so she says, my saddest season started on Juneteenth, 1939. And here she is reading. So, you know, even though they were not allowed to read or write, Opal learned how to read. And her family's brand new house was terrorized and destroyed because of Black progress, probably because she could read and was celebrating Juneteenth. So even the celebration was not without danger and personal sacrifice. And Opal Lee and her family were victimized because of it. And, you know, and now at the end, you know, Juneteenth is, you know, her Juneteenth is freedom for everyone. Juneteenth is for me and you. And the red color has significance. I think red velvet cake is also affiliate. It has some association with Juneteenth. But the recipe in the book is for red punch, strawberry lemonade, and I'm not sure why the red color is. I'm sure it's in the book if I read it more carefully. There's also a Juneteenth timeline, so we see what happened. And let's see, what else is there? More details about Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. She was the one who led the movement to make it a national holiday. And then we have bibliography. So, yeah, certainly a great book to use for Juneteenth, but also for Black History Month. So I just want to say thank you again to Tommy Nelson for the book, and to Faye Duncan, who I think mailed it to me. And thank you all for watching.